Arrived down at the start ahead of the Newmarket racecourses.co.uk maiden stakes. Perdrix is a non-runner here. We're left with a field of just 7. A mile the trip. We'll take a check on the betting. Zerbriggen is the odds-on favourite here for Charlie Appleby and Mikel Barcelona, a son of Ravens Pass out of Zanzibar, who's got a very nice pedigree and had one start as a 2-year-old where he finished a promising 3rd. He's been off the course since 378 days, for 378 days I should say, but he's the odds-on favourite and well-backed. Nickels and Dimes is the second favourite at 7-2. I'm surprised purely because of the form of the James Fanshawe yard that Magic Hurricane is drifting as much as he is, out to 5-1 from 100 to 30. He's been gelded since his last run. The best doctor is at 9-1 for Jeremy Nacida and Paul Hannigan, 20-1 for Posterity, Millie's Quest 66-1, and Joe Sugden on debut for Mrs. Ilka Gansera-Levesque, ridden by Martin Lane, the outsider, at 80-1. Zerbriggen, favourite Tom, had been off the course for 378 days but got a good pedigree and showed promise on debut, albeit over a year ago.
Yeah, a long time ago, showed a lot of promise. On the face of that run, you wouldn't necessarily say Zerbriggen would be turning up here over a year later, a 5-6 favourite. But I think the big clue there is Ashdown, the Gosden colt who won, went on to be 4th in Dewhurst, and then second behind Hannon's colt Monteridge in listed company on reappearance this season. So the form looks cracking, and turning up here in what, on the face of it, isn't the classiest of maidens over a mile, is rightly at the top of the market. Short, but certainly rightly at the top of the market. Charlie Appleby's not quite having the day here we thought he might do, but the Godolphin runners are doing very well over at York, and I think coming into it, this looks the most likely winner for Appleby.
And Nickels and Dimes, a daughter of Teofilo, out of Neat Shilling. She's had 4 starts. She's the most experienced lining up here. She finished 5th last time out, and she's been pretty prominent in the betting in her career to date. What do you make of her overall profile? Is it one of disappointment or one of promise?
Beaten favourite on 4 starts is just disappointing, isn't it? It's not a horse you want to back next time out. I actually think that she's a good deal better than she's shown. She just hasn't come back in the same form, or certainly to show the same promise she showed in 2 starts in October last season. I just wonder, best efforts have come with some cut in the ground. She actually ran well on heavy ground. Maybe she wants it a bit softer underfoot. I'm not too sure, but difficult to back beaten favourite on 4 starts.
Good luck whatever you're on. Here's Stuart.
Joe Sugden eased in. Zerbriggen a little edgy in stall 8. But now just about there for this Newmarket racecourses.co.uk maiden stakes. They're off. Racing over the Bunbury Mile. Zerbriggen, who was a little fretful in the stalls, wasn't the quickest away in the Godolphin blue, towards the rear early with Magic Hurricane in a red and green jacket, but the early pace doesn't look particularly strong. And the other Godolphin runner for Posterity, White Cap, pulling hard on the sharp end with the white-faced Joe Sugden, tracked by Nickels and Dimes in a dark green jacket and Millie's Quest with the white sleeves, and then Magic Hurricane at the best doctor towards the far side with a purple cap, and from that sluggish start, Zerbriggen racing at the tail of the field, but they rather meandered their way through the first quarter mile, and for Posterity and Ahmedash Tibi leading from Joe Sugden on the far side. Nickels and Dimes round Pavlin on the near side of Millie's Quest, and then the best doctor just ahead of Magic Hurricane, and Zerbriggen under heavy restraint at the tail of the field from Mikel Barcelona. Down to the last half mile they come, so passing the halfway point for Posterity from Joe Sugden, Nickels and Dimes, Millie's Quest in a white sleeve jacket. Break of a length and a half to the best doctor on the far side, and then Magic Hurricane, and Zerbriggen remains at the tail of the field. A steady pace beginning to unwind now as they pass the 3 for Posterity, setting this race alight. Joe Sugden away to the right, ridden along from Millie's Quest. Nickels and Dimes is shaken up. Zerbriggen now beginning to make headway from the rear ahead of the best doctor and Magic Hurricane. Downhill to the last furlong and a half they come for Posterity, trying to fend off a game Joe Sugden. Zerbriggen with 2 lengths to make up and rather hemmed in by Magic Hurricane. The two having a coming together as they close inside the last furlong. Joe Sugden on the far side. Zerbriggen and Magic Hurricane on the near side, bearing down on Joe Sugden. Zerbriggen comes upside Joe Sugden, who battles back gamely on the far side, and Joe Sugden springs a surprise from Zerbriggen with Magic Hurricane in 3rd and for Posterity back in 4th.
And there was you, sat at home thinking Jwala's win in the Nunthorpe would be the biggest shock of the day. Well, officially a photo, but Joe Sugden on debut for trainer Mrs Ilka Gansira Levesque under jockey Martin Lane on the far side appears to have got the better of the son of Ravens Pass out of Zanzibar in the Godolphin Blue, Zabriggan. In third in the red colours, Magic Hurricane, who wanted just a little nibble
The
at
photo finish for
Zabriggan.
first place. First, number 1, Joe Sugden.
And it's been confirmed. Upsets on the July course. Joe Sugden at 80 to 1 has won. Cost 3,500 guineas as a 2-year-old. Is a half-brother to 4 winners, including Law of the Range, who reached a decent level. Had a tongue strap on debut. First time out as a 4-year-old, carrying 9 stone 11 against the 3-year-olds, the Brigand carrying 9 stone 5. A gelded son of a Rafa in the colours of the Brookside Breeders' Club. Not fancied in the market, 80 to 1. Didn't have a great pedigree, didn't cost very much, and despite the fact that related to a few winners, it was very hard to make a case for Joe Sugden. Well done if you picked him out. He's easy to spot. He's got the big white blaze, and under Martin Lane, he's showed a really good attitude to see off Zabriggan and Magic Hurricane. You are just left wondering and questioning whether Zabriggan was hindered by just that little battle with Magic Hurricane at the furlong pole. Joe Sugden, who had a clear passage through, was able to stick his neck out late on, showing a really good attitude. But a massive shock of Nunthorpe proportions here, Tom.
And beyond, and beyond. That's a couple of shocks we've had here today. Another odds-on favourite goes down. I don't think the interference with the Fanshawe runner Magic Hurricane is enough of an excuse whatsoever. If anything, they gave each other a little kiss on the way through. I mean, that's blown me away. Congratulations, really, to Mrs Ilka Gansira Levesque. I think that's her first win of this season. And that's a heck of a performance. Well done if you found that. Just to pick up on a few throughout the race, the other Charlie Appleby runner for posterity was very green early on, but ran okay, didn't find a great deal. It was a bit of a crawl. And Zabriggan here, after a little battle with Magic Hurricane, now came to win the race. And what's really impressed me with Joe Sugden is when he's been eyeballed with Zabriggan on his outside, he's just found that little bit extra. Best watched is all you could say at this stage. Coming back as making a debut as a 4-year-old under Martin Lane. But if you found that at 80 to 1, it's not an easy find, but you've been very, very well rewarded. The James Fanshawe fairy tale has ceased somewhat. 6 in the last 7 winners, is now 6 from 8. And disappointment really again for Godolphin here at Newmarket.
Yeah, they've just been touched off, and this was a leading fancy for them. And the powerful operation of Godolphin have been lowered here by trainer Ilka Gansira Levesque, who I must be honest, I know nothing about.
No, well, I
don't mean
perhaps
that
in Newmarket.
disrespectfully.
No, perhaps you. I mean, I know very little about, but she's sat there with her slingshot somewhere shooting down Goliath. I think that's fun. Look, fantastic. Not the easiest one to find. I'm not going to have excuses really with Zabriggan there with the little bump with Magic Hurricane. I think there's an excuse there, and ultimately he came to win the race, and Joe Sugden just found a little bit extra when pushed. But perhaps Zabriggan needed the outing. He certainly looked like he did first time out. I wouldn't be too put off watching him next time, but how far he'll go having not won that is open to debate.
There's the evidence. It is Joe Sugden that wins. Ilka, I believe, was an assistant trainer in the US and apprentice jockey in Germany prior to graduating from vet school in 2009. She broke youngsters in when working under Monty Roberts. 80 to 1, Joe Sugden has returned. Zabriggan in second at 4 to 5. One for the little lads there at Newmarket, lowering the colours of Godolphin. Winning time 1:42.09, 6:09 outside standard. Well done to Martin Lane, strong in a finish, good ride. He's having a really good season. Very underrated jockey, Martin. He's got a big ride tomorrow in Sheikh Zayed Road, and he's doing really well this year.
Well, a familiar face on Racing UK. Tom O'Ryan, 3 months on from one of the most extraordinary events of his or anyone else's lifetime, and I can't believe I'm seeing him up on his feet, even aided. How are you, pal?
I'm in good form now. As you can see, I'm on crutches. I'm getting about as best I can. Richard Fye's still a bit disappointed I'm not riding out, but we're getting there. It's been a long job. We always knew it was going to be a long job, but now that I'm a little bit more mobile and getting about on the crutches, I feel a bit happier. And although I get pretty tired and I'll be wiped out tomorrow after coming here today, it's been great and catch up with a few people, and everybody's been marvellous, to be honest.
And talk us through the stages bit by bit, because you've still got the body brace as well as the crutches now. It's been a hard